Well, hi folks, and welcome to another NPE student interview. Very excited to chat to the one and only Hassan Abdallah today. Great to have you on the call, Hassan.
Yeah, good to see you too, Rick.
Fantastic. And I know you and I have had a long history of working together, especially over these last few months and that sort of thing. But others don't know you, so share a little bit about where your business is at, where your model, what your model is, I should say, and then the clients that you really love serving, Hassan.
Yeah, awesome. So, just where I was before, I owned CrossFit Volume. So we were known as a CrossFit gym. This was just before COVID. So I had a CrossFit gym here in Kogarah for 6 years. We've been offering, personal training and large group training. And then, when COVID came around, it kind of gave me a lot of time to have a think about my business model and direction I want to go in. Also lots of, lengthy talks with yourself, Rick, and also with Sean as well. And yeah, basically after sitting down and just really having a look at my business and the people that we like to serve, which are, busy professionals and busy parents, around this Kogarah area, and then the type of training that we do here, we realized that we're a lot more than a CrossFit gym, and that it was probably time to move away from CrossFit being in our main branding. Now I've rebranded to Volume Fitness, really focusing on personal training, starting to get into a little bit of semi-private training. But then the big shift that we've done now is we've gone to a small group model. Where we have our classes average about 6 to 8 people, but a maximum of 10 people per class. Reason being is we're just trying to, improve the amount of coaching time our clients get in every session. Reduce the amount of members that we need to sign up here in the gym as well, because we can just, bring it down to like a capped member base of only 85 members, which then allows us to focus a lot more on our clients and give them a lot more time and attention when it comes to helping them with extra programming or nutrition coaching as well. So yeah, it's been really good to get the help of MPE through that journey, and really help me get to see through all the little cracks and see all the potential in shifting the business model, and all the little important steps that had to be made along the way. It's not just as simple as click your fingers and do it. There's a lot of important steps that need to be done to make sure that the business's values are lining up with who we serve and everything else as well. So it's been good.
Well, you've mentioned a whole bunch of things there, so I wanted to dive into some of these. So there's a lot of people who will be listening to this call who are nodding their heads and going, you know what, we do more than, I guess, what the CrossFit brand represents, but we're scared and nervous about trying to rebrand because it's a big challenge. So what was that like for you, and did you have some nerves around doing that, and how was that process for you?
Yeah, definitely a lot of nerves around it. It's something that's been playing on my mind for a while now, And I guess because I had a major breakthrough on a call one day with yourself and Sean and a few other people in the NPE community who have done it before me as well. And that really gave me the confidence to be like, okay, cool, well, these guys have done it. This is the support for my coaches to go and do it. I can go and do it. I just really needed that push, deep down, I always believed that it's the right thing for my gym. I always believed that, rebranding to Volume Fitness was going to take us to the next level. And then, just from an offering point of view, from a service point of view, from perspective of people looking into my business and my gym to what they think of it and what it is. I guess the most nerve-wracking part for me was you have a lot of clients who are attached to the brand. It's like they've been with you for 5 to 6 years. They love the training methodology. They love our coaching style, everything else that comes with it. They love the community vibe. And it's just more about telling them, like, look, nothing's going to change in terms of what you get in coaching quality, in programming quality, but it's just going to make it better, because we're going to be able to attract, better clients. They're going to fit in with, you guys here in having the gym now with what you guys believe in and everything else as well. So it's just about reinforcing it to my current clients that what the changes we are making isn't going to make things worse. It's just going to make it better. And all the good things that we're currently doing, they're not going to be taken away. There's still going to be those good things, just adding more to it. So yeah, I think the way you transfer the message is more important than the actual, changing of everything kind of thing, make sure you have the right message to your clients when you're doing it.
Well, I know that was a few of the conversations that you had as you were going through this process as well, was not just what to communicate, but also how to communicate as well, because we can, in times when we're doing some of the things that are hard to do and we've got concerns about, it's easy to sort of just hide behind an email, isn't it? Send it out and go, oh, well, hopefully no one's going to kick up a fuss. But you did things very strategically with that in terms of the way that you communicated in the different places that you really conveyed that message. Would you share how that went for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it went really good. It went really good, and we did have to go through like a sequence kind of thing when doing it, and not just kind of like snap the finger and do it all at once kind of thing. So like the most important thing was explaining the how and the why behind it. Okay, so not just like being okay, cool, we're changing and that's all we're doing. Just explaining to them why you're changing it, how you're doing it. Certain things like using some of the tools that NPE provide as well. With when you are pivoting to raise your rates or anything like that as well. Proper messaging on how to do it in a respectful manner and not just like being abrupt about it and stuff, and really showing your clients the value as well, and talking them through that process as well. So that's one of the things that we out for.
Well, you obviously did it well because it's been well received in your community, as you mentioned. You talked a little bit earlier about increasing that coaching time for each client to really deliver a better service, especially for that target market that you want to serve. And you also mentioned needing less clients. So does that mean that you've put your prices up, just for everyone who's listening to this at home?
Yes, definitely. So raising the rates was something that naturally had to happen, because you go from a business model where you have, anywhere between 16 to 20 people in a class, maybe like a capacity of having 120 plus members in your gym, to now bringing it down to no more than 10 people in a class and having a capacity of 85 members in the gym. So naturally, yes, we had to raise the rates to fit the business model, because now we have less clients. But then on the other side of things as well, it's not just from a numbers point of view, but then also from a value point of view as well. Because now when our clients come to classes, we have a structure in our groups now where when we have our strength component in our workouts, our clients have a couple of options around, strength training. For example, someone who is into stuff like Olympic weightlifting can select that option when they come to class.
Right.
Or someone who's more about, body transformation, bodybuilding stuff, they don't really care about Olympic weightlifting, they can choose that option. And that wasn't achievable in a large group class. You can't do it when you have 16, 20 people running around. But when you have, less than 10 people, and you can go, okay, cool, you 5 over here go to Olympic weightlifting, 3 to 4 over here doing bodybuilding. The coaches can see everything that's going on, manage everything. So now, not only are we just providing extra coaching time in the session, but we're actually giving the clients what they've come for, So, if I get a 40-year-old father come to my gym who's, got bad posture sitting at the desk all day, well, maybe snatching is not the best thing for him. Yeah, you better sit up, So maybe snatching's not the best thing for him. He should be working on, some upper body push and pull sessions, improving his posture, improving upper body strength, getting out of shoulder pain, all that kind of stuff. So we're now also serving our clients' needs a lot more correctly, a lot more specific to their needs as well. And it's like, yes, it's not semi-private one-on-one training, but it's the next best thing after it. That definitely when they come to our groups, 100%.
That's awesome, and I love the ability, as you said, you've made this all about the clients. But let's just pause for a second. So we're going through arguably the biggest shift and the biggest challenge that the fitness industry has ever had with COVID-19.
Yes.
There's lockdowns, there's been this fear and worry. And during that time, you've completely rebranded and changed your business model, and you've increased your prices, which are the two things that people probably fear the most doing in business, all whilst we're going through this most tumultuous stage of the industry ever. That's a pretty ballsy step there, my man, and that's something that a lot of people would say, whoa, no, we'll lose people, they won't come back, they'll go somewhere else or look for a cheaper option, they won't want to do that. How was that process for you, putting your prices up, knowing that potentially you were going to risk losing a few clients, but also knowing that that level of service was going to be so much better for those that stayed? How was that like for you, Hassan?
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. Like, and that's just, saying the truth. It was something that I'm afraid of, and something that I'm still going through. Because you're still facing these objections every day, from current clients and also new clients that are coming through. But you gotta do the work within. You gotta do the work within and realize, okay, cool. Well, this is what my service is truly worth. And once you get clarity on that, once you know that this product that this we can call it a product service that I'm delivering to my clients is amazing, and it is life changing, and it is going to solve all their health issues, okay, and get them all the results they want, you become a lot more confident to be able to deliver that message. I won't lie, the hardest part was being able to go up to clients who have been so loyal to you for such a long time, and then not just loyal to you for such a long time, but stuck by you during that COVID period, during that lockout period as well, continue to support your business. But it's all on face value. What I mean? Like, yes, they committed to me. Yes, they stayed loyal to me. But I'm also so committed to them, and I'm also so loyal to them. So I'm not giving out anything or charging anything that I cannot deliver on. And you just need to be really confident in that. Like, when you can deliver something, well, then you're confident about it. I just had a lady in my office a couple of hours ago who coming back from giving birth, and she's feeling really insecure with her body, and tells me that body shape is going south, and she's losing fitness and losing strength and losing all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, she needs me. I mean, if I don't offer her the service that I believe is right for her, just because I think that it might be too expensive, well, I'm not doing her any favors then either, So I just made sure I just stick by what I believe is going to work. And if I believe it's going to work and I believe it's worth that, then it's good. And then on the other side of things as well, as I mentioned before, I capped my gym at 85 members. I'm not after thousands of people. I'm surely there's 85 people out there in this George area who are going to value my service. So it's not for everybody. It's for that particular person who's like equally wants it as much as I'm willing to help them. So that's kind of, you just got to kind of keep reminding yourself of that there is people out there that do want your service and do need your service.
And have the wherewithal to pay for it, right? Because that's part of that ideal client, isn't it? That avatar that we talk about. They've got to not only want to be the people you want to work with and have the problems that you want to solve, but they also need to have the financial ability to make that financial as well as emotional and intellectual commitment.
Definitely. And there was clients of mine who didn't return after COVID, and it's just because their situations are tough and they've changed, and like, doesn't mean that they're bad people or anything like that. They just weren't the right fit at this right time. Maybe things will change for them, circumstances wise, financial situation might change, and they might come back later and reapply to come to the gym. And I think one thing that I really, really love about the NPE process, when you teach us in the sales process, when we're selling to clients, there's no hidden secrets. You know, like when they first jump on the phone with us, when they talk to us, we tell them, like, this is what we're worth. You know, this is what it is between this price range. Is it something that you can afford? It fits in your budget? Yeah, cool. Come in and see us. Then if not, then sorry. You know, like we don't lie to people or try to trick people into joining us. So we lay out all the cards there for them to make their own choices. So yeah, it's good.
Which is really powerful. I mean, you've implemented a new sales system since you joined MPE. You obviously changed your model. You've changed your pricing and packaging. You've capped it at 85, and you need less clients now to hit your financial targets. And obviously, comparatively, you've got a lot less back-end administration and all that sort of stuff because you're dealing with less people as well. What has it been like now that you've got really clear on who that ideal client is for you guys and who you want to serve? How has that changed or has it improved the culture within the facility and what it's like to experience in the CrossFit volume fitness and what you deliver now?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I asked my coaches, because they do most of the coaching work. I'm, in the office a lot these days. And I asked them, and I said to them, from their point of view, I said, how do you find our group sessions now? How are you finding the clients and stuff? They're like, as a coach, I haven't changed. But the one thing that I do more of now is I just coach more, so because before they were like, okay, coaching, but then also delegating, but then also arranging the room for the class and stuff like that. So you know what? Now we have less clients in our faces in every class. We just actually get to coach more, okay? That's one thing that's going to change. And then the other thing that's going to change too, you mentioned on the back end of the administration side of things, a massive part of what we do here is client retention and really staying engaged with our clients. And, amongst myself and the rest of the coaches here, we all have like a caseload of clients that we do our, 1 week check-ins with and 4-week assessments and stuff like that between programs. And we can get through that a lot easier with less clients now, and then it really improves your retention as well. And it's even before we changed this model, we were always strict on the kind of client that we let join our gym, okay, because we want to make sure the environment is really good and the culture is really good. But since we have introduced this new model and, we're just not signing up as many new clients because we don't need to, okay? But every single time someone does join, they are quality, and you're 100% sure of that because, A, they're making a really big commitment to join us. And, through that commitment, that you have a committed client, a loyal client. And then, they come into our community here and join everyone else. And, everyone's just on the same page. You don't see new faces every single month and every single week. It's this tight-knit bunch of people. Certain amount of same group going in the morning, same group going in the afternoon. It is really bonding well together. And, yeah, it's definitely made the community stronger, sticking together through the tough times and now coming out the back end of it, hopefully. So it's good.
Well, that is good. I mean, especially with that community and people building better relationships. And I guess from what you explained as well, not only are you able to give a better service and do more of those follow-ups and checkups and retention-based activities, but also because you're not having to just market like crazy, right? Because you've got to get people in the door. Yeah. You are getting more people who fit the culture and make a longer-term commitment, because that's hugely time-consuming, isn't it? When you get a bunch of new clients, you might have done a specific marketing campaign. You've got to go through and make sure you've consulted with them all, but then you've got to do whatever onboarding it might have been and get them all figured out. And then if they're sort of leaving 4, 6, 8 weeks later, it's just a complete waste of everyone's time, isn't it? And it's exhausting.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, having a smaller membership base allows you to narrow down a lot more who your ideal client is and who you want to serve. And yeah, it's not, I honestly don't find the marketing or sales process stressful, because it isn't. It's more enjoyable now, right? Because you don't have to chase like a big number, just trying to narrow it down to that specific client. And then, when they do come in, like the lady who came in earlier today, it's a match made in heaven. It's like, okay, well, this is what you need. We offer it. Let's make it work. So yeah, it's a lot more better when you can
Well, I love what you said there, and something, and I just jotted it down in my notes. You mentioned you've got to, it's the internal work a few minutes ago. You've got to work on
Yeah.
yourself to overcome some of these challenges. What I've loved seeing your growth and development through the program, Hassan, is, and for those who have you on the calls, you'll say whatever it is, a challenge or whatever, and then you'll sit back and think about the answer. And what's really impressive is there's a lot of people that, and I know I've seen at times where you felt like you wanted to say, oh, but because we have to do this and because of this, and no, that won't work for me, or no, because my business is different, or because whatever else. But what's impressive is you sit back and go, let me just think about that. And then, on the next call or next time we catch up, you're like, okay, well, I had some questions about how this will work and that would work. What's that
Yeah.
coaching? I mean, you're not new to coaching. You've had and worked with other coaches before. What's enabled you to stay so open, and especially when it comes to those pivots that we need to make in our business and reflecting on what you really want to do? Why has that been so different with the MPE experience rather than with some of the other coaches you've worked with?
Firstly, like with previous coaching that I've had compared to MPE, is the level of engagement with MPE is extremely high. So we have weekly calls. For me, it's every Wednesday. The calls go for 2 hours, and it's a time where you just get to really just show up. Okay, that's the number one thing that you got to do, is just show up to the calls. I always tell myself, like, just never miss them. And then once you show up to the call and you just do the work on the call, with the coaches, and just, really, nut out what it is that you need to work on or what it is that you're struggling with and stuff. And then you just know that you have to come back to that call again next week, and you have to make sure that you've worked on it and done it. So the level of engagement and the accountability is extremely high, and that's what I find really engaging, because exactly like my clients here in the gym, they want to be always constantly engaged and held accountable and stuff like that. Well, as a business owner, I want it as well. And for me, I'm in this business on my own, so I'm a sole business owner, and it's pretty common in the fitness business that there's a lot of partnerships as well. Like always, like someone's got a partner in the business with them, but then it's a lot of people sometimes a lot of time they're alone. So I'm alone, So if I don't have NPE to talk to about my problems, or issues I'm having, then who do I flesh it out with? You know what I mean? So it's just really that's why I found just what's allowed me to pivot and grow is just to continually show up to the calls, be as open as possible with what I'm struggling with and what I need help with, and then just take the feedback on and just take action on it. You know what I mean? And I don't really have to think twice, with you guys. I think that I just take the advice on board and I go and try it. And then, majority of the times when I go and try it, it works for me, So I think that's the biggest thing. Just really be open, just be open, be present, be honest, and just kind of take it on. That's like the biggest change for me. And there's always, at the end of every call or during the call, there's always like a takeaway, maybe more than one takeaway from that session, which just allows you to grow like week on week and change things week on week. And it's not overwhelming either. It's just like step-by-step process too as well, which is good, Other places are kind of just like, here's the work, a whole bunch of it, go and do it kind of thing. But This is just like a nice week by week, just keep changing things slowly, and it gets better every single week.
Well, I love it. And you have been super committed to those calls. It's brilliant to have you there. And something that I really resonate with that you mentioned there, you try and be completely honest. And that takes strength and courage, because being vulnerable in front of others and around your peers is often really hard to do. And, on those calls, having, I've obviously been part of them myself, then it's amazing to see when one person does it, like you start by being vulnerable about something, and then it just opens up and creates that space for everyone else to step into, and then they can know that it's a safe environment, and they can really share all their challenges and concerns, and sometimes fears and worries and stresses too, because it's that sounding board. we, in term, I mean, there'll be a lot of people thinking to themselves, well, hang on, we've gone through this really stressful financial period with lockdowns and fear with our members and with the wider community. And why, and you're paying for this coaching. Why didn't you just cut the coaching and save the money that you're making there? What would
Yeah.
your answer be to that, Hassan?
Man, like, yeah, that's a good question. Like, I joined NPE probably like maybe a month before COVID
It was
hit.
pretty fair. I think it was February you jumped on board, and then it
Yeah,
all,
yeah, a month, about 2 months before, and then we had the event in Sydney, and
yep,
everything was going good. I was building all the blocks slowly and stuff, going for the getting race ready. I was on the back end of getting race ready, and then we had the Sydney event, and then the lockdown hit. And yeah, like you're saying, it probably would have been something easy to be like, oh, yeah, let's save myself some money and put it on hold. But to be honest, it's what I needed more than anything at that time. Like to sit there and just have the coaches to talk to and the rest of the other gym owners around me who were struggling as well. It was that was like what kept me alive pretty much. Like I think saving that money on business coaching probably would have just ended pretty miserably for my business, and a lot of the pivoting decisions and choices that we made there, because I spoke about being lonely in the business. Well, during COVID, I was even more lonely because we didn't have the gym either to come to. You know what I mean? Like talk to your clients and stuff like that as well. And yeah, some of the advice that was given to us during COVID just was amazing. Like from how to stay alive. How to negotiate things. With landlords, and how to still hold the value for our clients, and how to pivot to virtual. And because it was totally new. Like no one knew what to do during that time. So then to have that professional guidance and professional advice was exactly what we needed. So yeah, it was the last thing on my mind to cut it then. And it's definitely worth the investment. I remember having the conversation with you about that as well early on in February and stuff like that. And you said, look, we can have a conversation down the track and you can let me know whether it was worth it or not. Well, mate, it's definitely been worth it, that's for sure.
Well, good on you, and you only get out of it what you put in, and you've been awesome as part of our community as well. What would your advice be for others, Hassan? It is a really challenging new world that we're living in, and people are really struggling with, maybe their model, maybe their pricing and packaging, maybe the systems that they either do or don't have, and they're looking for ways of being able to help more people and do it in a way that aligns to their values more, just like you described earlier. What would your advice be for them if they're looking for support and wanting and needing help?
Yeah, well, for themselves personally, they gotta do what you really believe is right. In the fitness industry, the right thing for your clients, the thing that you're passionate about as well. Like if you're no longer passionate about large group fitness or a certain style of training or a certain demographic that you're marketing towards, or clients that you're marketing towards, well then stop doing it. Because you're not going to get anywhere unless you believe in it yourself. Because if you don't believe that this style of training or this type of group or this demographic is the right ones that you're passionate about serving, well then you're doing it wrong, and you're not going to be able to get the maximum result out of that. That's firstly. And then secondly, if you do have this type of business model that you think might be good, and type of clients that you want to serve, and type of systems that you want to run, but you're not sure how to do it, then seek the help out. You know what I mean? Seek the help out, because I guess once you get clear on what you want, and then you also have this professional guidance and help, from business coaches, helping you every step of the way, then it's very hard to get it wrong then. It's very hard to get it wrong then when you get given the systems to put into place, and you're the passionate person, running those systems and stuff. And just yeah, it takes a lot of the heavy lifting away, and all the guesswork away, and really helps you, focus on the things that are important, and yeah, just really fill those holes that you're not good at, the things that you really struggle with in your business that you don't know what to do with properly. Well, then go and get help with it. Even if you got to spend your money and invest in it, it's got to come back. You know what I mean? It's got to come back. So just do it and don't be afraid. Yeah, definitely.
Great advice there. And, I appreciate you sharing that. Obviously, you've come through this challenging period. You've got yourself primed for not only a good 2021, but even right through the end of 2020, even wherein a lot of other businesses are, well, they've either closed or they're really struggling. You've been able to get a lot of those systems in place, which is absolutely awesome. I can't wait to see what else you're going to achieve over that period. And there'll be a lot of people saying, oh, well, that's okay for him because it's whatever. It's easier. He's in a better location. He doesn't have any, as many time requirements as I do. But all of that is what we call head trash, right? You've got all those things. You've got a relatively young child at home, and a young family that you're supporting as well, and you've had to make some big changes to the way you're doing things and really go through some of those hard yards, as you mentioned, to change your model and have courage and practice faith so that you can get to where you want to go. And that's super impressive and super inspirational for others. And I know there'll be people listening to this thinking, oh, well, yeah, if he was able to do it, because it's maybe been itching away at them, because we all fall into it, don't we? We fall into the patterns and habits. And when you realize when you've got an opportunity to sit back like COVID, that your business has turned to this thing that you're not even in love with anymore, and you don't actually even want to be doing it. So, but so many don't make that change, do they? They won't actually be brave and either seek out and get the help to do it, or at least know what to do and take that first step, which is awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with those that are listening to the call today, Hassan? Any little finishing quotes or gems of wisdom or nuggets of gold from your experiences in life and business?
Yeah, mate. So I guess some very old cliche kind of quotes, like if it doesn't challenge you, then it's not going to change you, So it's as simple as that, like there's no easy road, like there's no such thing as an easy road. There's no such thing as a miracle formula or anything like that. It's all hard work. You got to be willing to do the work. You got to be willing to face the challenges and make the changes. It's as simple as that. And yeah, like you just got to ask yourself, how badly do I want it? How much do I actually want to succeed? And if you want it bad enough, then you won't just sit around. You'll stand up, you talk up, you put your hand up, you'll ask for help, you'll go out there and make the changes. And in terms of NPE, like I stepped into an amazing community. I was referred from friends of mine as well. And it obviously helps to hear it from my friends who say, it's one of the best business coaching they've had before, and it's an amazing community to be a part of. So that obviously does help. So if I can, help other people as well, and give them my word and say that, like it is a really good community. All the business coaches are extremely helpful. You really do take out your time and put in the effort and go the extra mile for us all, which we're all extremely grateful for. And the NPE community is full of a bunch of amazing humans, all around the world, pretty much. Business coaches all in the same boat as each other. Like I've met so many business owners who have such a similar model to mine, such similar ideal clients, anything like that, and just to be able to bounce feedback off them, every single week it's invaluable. So yeah, really good. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and really appreciate your time today, Hassan. I know you're extremely busy and you've got lots going on, and what you've just shared there over the next, over the last sort of 30, 35 minutes has been priceless, and I'm sure people will be going back over this and listening to it again. thank you for being such an amazing part of our community. We absolutely love it. We can't wait to be able to do our live events again, hopefully soon, because that's when we'll all get to catch up. But this is, as good as it gets from a second place of that. But thanks for your time, Hassan. Thanks for being so committed to doing the work that you needed to do, and thank you for the entire St. George community, because you really are making a massive impact on people's lives and helping them to be the best versions of themselves.
Awesome. No, thank you, Rick. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
All right, good on you. We'll speak to you very soon.
Thanks, mate. Ta.